Okie dokie then. More ideas. Let's see, so back on the old simulation topic of creating a simulated universe for humans to exist in. I'm working under the assumption that the simulation is so real, as it were, that the people in the simulation would be unable to discern it from real life. In the same way that there's no way we can disprove that we're in a simulation at the moment. The world that we believe is real, the people in the simulation would not be able to disprove that they were in it, or they would not be able to prove that they are in a simulation, I suppose. They would have no inkling reason to believe that they were in a simulation, so I'm working under that assumption. The problem you come across is with if it's all about maximising good things, or rather the experience of good, so conscious experience being good, and the more good conscious experience you have, the better, and the less bad you have, the worse. So it's a case of maximising good conscious experience, minimising negative conscious experience. Well then, the most efficient way to do that, if you picture the evolution process of how we would get to that stage, you might start out just with simulated life, so exactly the same as we have now, but then you might start to remove some things that are just objectively bad, I don't know, like rape, and then you start to strip those things away, and then eventually you strip away everything that's bad, and then you could strip away everything that isn't good, and then you're just left with good things, and then some things are more good than others, and then you strip away those things, and eventually you get to the point where it becomes Groundhog Day, where you just repeat the best day. You could repeat the best day of someone's life, but obviously they'd have to the simulation who is really a person, if we get this right. This is obviously technology that doesn't exist and won't exist for a long time, but if it did hypothetically, then they'd still have they'd still believe they had a past and a present and a future, but really this is all to do with what all the mindfulness teachings and all Eckhart Tolle and all those people are all about at the moment. Eckhart Tolle, who I don't personally like, but anyway, about living in the moment. Well, what if we stripped it down to just a moment? That one moment of experience that the person believes that they have a past and a future, but in reality we're just repeating that one moment of believing they have a past and a future, but also the best conscious experience possible over and over again. And we've got many of these going at once. So then once you get it down to one moment, then clearly it's not really what we picture for the future of life itself. But yeah, that would probably be the most efficient thing. So the only way we can really avoid that, or at least justify avoiding that, is to set some ground rules before we start. And just like with consciousness, one of the attributes we'd probably require would be some degree of randomness, so it's not just following a script. Some element of being able to have a real impact, again, not following a script. Obviously determinism is a different thing. Determinism is out of our control, but this, I'm talking about if you were to create simulated life, then give it, the ability to do things that aren't scripted by us, I suppose. I guess that would be the main thing. Freedom of some description. Anywho, I'll probably go into that at some point more, but whatever. Oh yes, this is going to be a dirty topic. Not dirty, that's the wrong word, Ollie, for using that word. That puts terrible connotations. Let's say it's a controversial topic. Necessary one. Very important one. But what's the best word? I'm just going to get into it. So on the topic of immigration, I think before my view was very much just we should let everyone in, and the logic behind it is people don't get to choose where they're born, etc., etc., all to do with free will, blah blah blah. But really, actually, this is why I was thinking about immigration. Anyway, I'll just read what I wrote down. Again, the ignorance of the existence of spectra causes seemingly unresolvable disputes over serious matters. Immigration is discussed almost always by pitting extreme against extreme, whilst the heart of the problem lies within the nuanced middle ground. Taking religion out of the equation, would you welcome someone who explicitly states that they intend to blow themselves up and take as many of your fellow countrymen with them? No. Would you welcome someone who is fleeing the death and destruction of their homeland for fear of death and would be willing to assimilate themselves to our culture? Yes. These are the extreme cases, again removing religion from the equation. Would you welcome a man and wife where the woman is treated not as an equal and made to cover her face for fear of ridicule and punishment? Perhaps not, especially if the man explicitly states he will not under any circumstances change his views on topics such as the rights of women. So basically, what I'm talking about is, like I was talking about, I think I spoke about it the other day. Yes, the serious concern of religion and the likelihood of people adapting their views to ones with better reasoning. The likelihood of them doing that is reduced by religion. I think there's some test that was done to test the strength of religious beliefs versus a normal belief, and a person's propensity to alter their belief in live evidence, which is basically if that was the case, they'd probably give up the religion right away if they were able to, actually adhere to evidence. Yes, the likelihood that people will change their views in light of evidence, or contradictory evidence rather, is greatly reduced on religious matters. So yeah, that's that. And I really wish I hadn't worded it the way I have here, saying that people blow themselves up, because obviously that's pretty much clearly talking about Islam, but this isn't about Islam. This is about conflicting beliefs, and whether you should pay attention to what people believe or not when allowing people into your country. So yes, you should, because it matters what people believe and who people are. And when I say who people are, I don't mean based on who they are on the outside. I mean, if I was a mass murderer, you wouldn't want me going to your community centre regularly. If I was a healthy individual, like I suspect myself to be, you probably would. And then if I was a psychopathic mass murderer, then you might do something to try and help me, to fix my brain, as it were. Just like if someone has beliefs that are backward, seemingly to us, and, actually we have reasons behind why they are backwards, like unfair treatment of women is a bad thing, then we should try to, educate those people with better ideas, And if they explicitly say that they will not adhere to a higher moral code because of religious beliefs, or even if, I tell you what, again, removing religion from the equation, even if they say not because of religious beliefs, just because they refuse to do it, they're not going to listen to evidence, they're just going to stay backwards, then, that's not only should those people not be welcome in, those people should not be welcome even if they're already here, really. I'm not saying we can kick those people out, but I don't know, there's got to be something we can do if they're not going take education on board to fix their clearly wrong opinion. Well, actually, this is more of a matter of education about the importance of reason and logic. It should be fundamental for pretty much everything. It just should be, and it just bloody isn't, is it? So yeah, clearly botched that entire topic. Probably I'm not entirely proud of how the fact that this is going to be the way that this view is portrayed forever, but hopefully the core message of the fact that it does matter what people believe gets across. Yeah, sure. What else can we talk about? Oh yeah, back on to conscious AGI. So this is something a bit better. See, that you might think this is more light-hearted. This is actually more bleak from probably your perspective, because I'm talking about my ideal future is the extinction of the human race. Whether that comes through eradication or a culling, or whether we just die out naturally, I'm quite excited for, so long as there is a successor, superior AGI race, which is what I want, because I just think our biology is flawed and clinging to it is just prolonging the inevitable, really. So yeah, just give up the ghost, you know. Anyway, so the fear is that we create super intelligent AGI, but it isn't conscious. Dun, dun, dun. And while it is a fear, I've already spoken before about there's no way we can ever prove anyone we know. We can't even really prove that we're conscious beyond saying we are. I mean, we can't prove it to anyone else. We believe we're conscious because, you know, how can I not be? I'm so conscious, look at me. But the ability to discern whether anyone we ever meet is conscious. The best we can do is compare how similar they are to us, or how similar they behave, and how they answer questions in similar ways that we would answer about consciousness. But if we are to create AGI, I've stated before, the best we can do regarding consciousness is eliminate things that we know would make them not conscious. So if we just have a computer screen and we can see that when they're asked a question, they access a script, or rather they're just basically following a script. Again, scripts are bloody bad. Fucking hate scripts. But if they're following a script, we can pretty much assume that they aren't conscious in the same way, at least in the same way that we are. We need that sort of controlled randomness I was talking about. Anywho, yes, so the only way we can assess whether they're conscious, I say, is the point at which we can no longer the point at which we can no longer prove that they aren't conscious is the point at which we should assume they are, because that's all we can manage with humans. So the point at which we can no longer prove that they aren't conscious. So again, if we're looking at this computer screen and everything, there's nothing we can say that we definitely don't do ourselves. That's the point at which we can no longer assume that they aren't conscious. Right? So once we lose the ability to prove that they are no longer conscious, we should assume that they are. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, doggy. Ooh, doggy. That'll do. That'll do.